golf course. You're trying to imagine there can't be a golf course around here. Where could it be? Where all of a sudden is one going to pop up? And then over a mountain you go, there it is, a green oasis. And the other thing about desert golf, they look so perfect in amongst that because the backdrop around really makes the golf course itself pop.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play, very solid. He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. And getting ready for the putt. Moves into the top 10 with that birdie. Short par 4, 16th hole, measures only 393 yards. But Frank, as is the case with pretty much every hole, despite the yardage, there's plenty of trouble.
It does. It plays tricks on the mind's eye here. It looks like it's a dog leg going one way, then back the other way. But really, it's built as a straight hole just across the canyon. And that's the way you've got to play it. I don't think you can drive the green, even the longest hitters at 393 yards. But just a nice drive down there. Take the bunkers on, get it past there. And before you know it, you've got a little wedge in here. And it should set up nicely for a birdie. I tell you, there's long and long, and that with a little bit of breeze behind, it's long.
He rode the wind there to payday. He's going to have a good look coming up. Now the approach shot here at 16, Frank, it is all about precision.
It certainly is. This green has a lot of contours in it, so it's very hard to get a dead straight or a flat putt here at 16. Second shot's not overly long, though, just a short on end. You should be looking at a birdie opportunity. But really, you don't want to stray too far away from 15 or 20 feet. Otherwise, it's going to get very difficult putting on this green.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie. But really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. Shouldn't be a problem here. I thought that was in.
Yeah, it looked good. I mean, line, pace, it's hard to be critical of that.
Makeable putt right here, currently sitting at 1 under for the round. So with that, the score is now at even par. Now to the 17th, par 5 here at Wolf Creek Golf Club.
Yeah, dogleg left. Tee shot obviously has to be played short of that creek down there. It's still going to be a reachable hole, even though this hole's sort of around the 550, 560 mark. But because you've got to play short of that stream, it's going to leave a lengthy second shot, and you've got to get the distance right on the button.
So, dropped the shot after ending up in the water on that recent miscue. Now on to his third shot after the last one went into the water. Playing his third here at the par 5.
Ah, nice.
Looks good. That one ends up in the rough.
That went sideways.
This requires a lot of speed through the ball. It should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. It is on the green, but that will be a tough putt on the way. This is a cross-country special. Well, you could see he's just disgusted with that effort. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Never quite had enough oomph on that.
Yeah, sort of a wishy-washy stroke.
Just a couple of feet. This one was just a nightmare from the start, and now he has this for triple bogey. So, with that, 3 over par now for the round. Finishing hole here at Wolf Creek is only 307 yards. Frank, where's the trouble here?
Short and to the right of this par 4. Really, there's a multitude of options off this tee. You could hit an iron, you could hit a fairway wood. Even some might try and hit a driver, but that's a little too risky. There's too many problems up ahead if you try and take this hole on. Really, a short club off the tee, leaving yourself some area of 170 yards, and you're going to be putting for birdie more often than not.
That ball is lost in the water. So this will be the 3rd shot after taking the drop with the ball going in the water. Frank, this is one you don't practice, but sometimes you have to do it. Time for the drop.
Yeah, it should be the easiest shot in golf. You've just paid for it.
Frank, this one looks like it might have a postage stamp on it. Airmail City.
Yeah, lick it. Send it.
Well, too bad, Frank. That one rolled right off the green.
It was just coming out so hot.
So, Frank, with this approach shot, you need to put it in there reasonably close and hope for a bogey.
Yeah, and that actually wouldn't be so bad. A string of mistakes, and just to minimize the damage to just one drop shot, you nearly give yourself a pat on the back. Not a problem there, Rich.
So just a formality now. And he makes it for a bogey here. And that'll wrap up the first round. We saw some good golf today, Frank, but some others, they got off to a slow start.
Yeah, and I don't really know how to explain why. Maybe lack of practice rounds, maybe not enough time on the golf course. They certainly will have to regroup tomorrow and put up a show just to make the cut.
EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present second round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Well, this is one of my favorite tournaments of the year. It's the EA Sports Spring Invitational, and just a stunning golf course. It's Wolf Creek in Mesquite, Nevada. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Novelo. And Frank, we're in for quite a day.
We are. We're going to see the decision-making processes of some of the fine players out there today. And the reason why I say that, Rich, is because there's so much elevation here at Wolf Creek. So you're going to have to make those adjustments on the downhill and the uphill. Club selection decisions. And, of course, the one that does that the best is more than likely the one that's going to come out on top.
That is massive off the tee.
Meters, yards, I don't care how you measure that. That's got to be, what, 300 meters, 325 yards, something like that.
Playing his second shot here at the par 5. That is a green in regulation as the approach shot hits the first green, but he is by no means in for par yet. A lengthy putt coming up. Looks like he just misread that. Now this for birdie, came away with par in the previous round. Frankie took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with a...
Well, not in contention, but in for par. Here at the par 4, 445-yard second hole. Severe dogleg to the left. What's the best play here, Frank?
Well, that tee shot, Rich, is so intimidating, so you don't necessarily have to hit driver. Club decision is probably going to be important here, because if you hit driver, you've got to take it down over that left side, all over the canyon area. So if you hit 3-wood, you can play a slightly more conservative tee shot, but it is going to leave you a longer second shot to a green that's well protected on the right side by bunkers. But really, you know, if the wind's not blowing, this is a really good, fun hole to play. Look at the vistas.
Frank, that is position A.
Yeah, the tee shot was like silk, Rich. I mean, just sets up that second shot so beautifully.
Good-looking shot right here. So on the putting surface, and taking a good look now at this birdie putt here at the second. Getting set now over the putt. You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it.
Even par, currently.
In for par. Now on to the third, first of the short holes here at Wolf Creek. Uphill shot, Frank?
Yes, it's going to play a little longer because of that. Then it's 227 yards off the back tee. Hard to imagine you have a par 3 in amongst this desert. And really, that's all it is. Tee and green. There's not much in between. Well protected, as you can see, by those bunkers. And this green a little smaller than what you'd like for a hole that's around that 230-yard mark.
Into the thick stuff. That's a difficult lie. Shot now from the rough. Frank, what's he facing?
Well, the lie first and foremost. If it's sitting down, then obviously you're not going to get a very good contact. Nothing wrong with coming up a little bit short of the green. Problem is turning one mistake into another.
Been this way all day. Airtight, no mistakes, solid shot.
And yet another green in regulation.
Clean this up with a tap. He's made it. And now let's go down to the action at the fourth. Frank, we're early in the second round. What have you seen so far?
I've seen a lot that can be improved on too, but there's enough good there. That's the main thing. You know, the scorecard doesn't always reflect how you're playing, but a little bit of basics out there. Fairways, greens, maybe knock a couple of putts in. All of a sudden that scorecard looks different.
Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just a lie there too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
So a chance for birdie after another solid approach shot. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie.